Hello everyone, my name is Weizhong Shao. I'm an international student and I'm interested in the internal logic covered under the running of the society. Let's turn to our topic, the data-related legal difference between the United States and the European Union. The first question is why data privacy matters. Privacy is seen as a fundamental right. In other words, we all have the inalienable human right to privacy. Except for the common sense, protecting privacy is important for the running for the whole society. Protecting privacy not only makes a contribution to the freedom of thought and speech, but also avoid cybercrime. I guess all of us are not willing to see some bad guys fish or defraud us based on our information. Like, here is your SSN and family information, and trust me, you have troubles. That's bad. Although both the United States and the European Union have laws for that, there are some significant differences between them. Let's have a glance on both parts. The General Data Protection Regulation, which usually called GDPR. New data privacy law of European Union has taken full effect with new restrictions and tough penalties. Companies that store data about people live in the European Union or provide service to them will be restricted by GDPR. And this is the key which influences the international companies a lot. Return to the United States. When dealing with the legal issues across United States and to European Union, we will face the first problem. Unlike the red color cover the whole country, the United States do not formulate one all-encompassing regulation. That there are some fragmented sector or state-oriented data protection laws and regulations to protect specific groups of people, and always not very strict. For example, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act is a set of standards created to secure protected health information by regulating healthcare providers. And NIST 800-171 for protecting controlled unclassified information in non-federal information systems and organizations. California has a security breach notification law in place, but almost all other states do not have. This is the difference comes from. The following are some details. What is data? The data in United States is mainly including personal identifiable information, and just like names, addresses, and telephone numbers, such that. But the European Union expands this frames to a large one. It calls it personal data. It's not only including all PII, but also other data related to individuals. For example, like biometric data, cookies, and IP addresses. This is a part of the GDPR. Data usage and consent. For consent to be informed and specific, the data subject must at least be notified about the controller identity, what kind of data will be processed, how it will be used, and how the process of the processing operation as a safeguard against function creep. When relevant, the controller also has to inform about the use of the data for automatic decision making, the possible risk of data transfers due to absence of accuracy decision or other appropriate safeguards. Totally, the company should inform the customers how they will do for what specific purpose and how they guarantee all steps functional well. Next. The first sentence is the key. consent must be unambiguous, which means it requires either a statement or a clear affirmative act. Consent control implied and must always be given through an option in, a declaration, or an active motion, so that there is no misunderstanding that the data subject has consent to the particular processing. Maybe after that, maybe someone would ask, we may have to accept the policy provided by those companies. Did those regulations still meaningful? My answer is yes. Next. This is called first consent. Not all companies get used to obey GDPR, which leads big fine. Generally, following the introduction of GDPR, they have found that large corporations such as Google simply interpret the law differently and have often only superficially adapted the products. At the beginning of the 2019, a 50 million euros fine arrived for Google from French Data Protection Authority, CNIL. CNIL said the fine was for breaking the GDPR rules around transparency. Google was accused about lacking a sound legal basis for processing people's data for advertising purpose because it railroaded them to consenting to process that they did not understand. The French regulator studied the information that's made available to users, which they create a Google account on a new Android phone. First, they found that information, including the purpose of the data processing, data storage periods, and the categories of personal data, is excessively disseminated across several documents, with buttons and links on which it's required to click to access complementary information, and some information is not always clear or comprehensive. Second, those regulators also point out Google is too generic and vague when telling users how it will use their data, and this is also information missing about how long the data will be stored. Third, CNIL also said Google gets user option out instead of option in to get consent without enough understanding. This consent is neither specific nor unambiguous and be not valid. By the way, France's maximum data protection fine used to be a mere 150,000 euros, though it upped that to 3 million in 2 years before the GDPR law take effect. Now that the new EU-wide law is in place, the maximum is 20 million euros or 4% of global annual revenues. This is why we say it brings tough penalties. Following are some significant rights. Next. The right of access. The right of access plays a central role in general data protection regulation because this right allows the data subject to exercise fewer rights. And the right to be forgotten. In conclusion, data must be erased immediately after data subject or EU laws ask for erasing. And in conclusion, the company should inform everything about data processing and transmitting, and provide everything about the data after processed, and erase everything about data when asked. The company must inform the authority with the and the company must inform the authorities with 92 hours of discovery when discovers a data breach. In fact, Facebook, Google, Apple, and other tech giants has recapped the privacy policies internationally in preparation for the new rules and redact new tools for people to download and delete the data. There are still further effects. For instance, Julie Brill, a former commissioner of U.S. Federal Trade Commission and currently Microsoft's Deputy General Counsel, said, now it is the time for Congress to take inspiration from the rest of the world and enact foundry regulation that extend the privacy protection in GDPR to citizens in the United States. Next. By a survey did by the PricewaterhouseCoopers, nearly all the respondents considered compliance with Europe's landmark generation data protection regulation a top priorities on the data privacy and secure agenda in 2017, with over half of respondents saying that it is the top priority, and 38 saying it is among the top priorities. On the other hand, over 3 in 4 companies plans to allocate over 1 million on GDPR redesigns and compliance efforts, with 68% saying they will investigate between 1 million and 10 million, and 9% expecting to spend over 10 million to address the GDPR obligation. They said no regulation rivals the potential global impact of the EU's General Data Protection Regulation. That is very important. Thank you.